Glitch just put out a response to the controversy surrounding the release of the Amazing Digital Circus's finale, and it definitely clears up a lot of the confusion. You see, yesterday Glitch announced that the finale of the show would release in theaters 2 weeks before it released on YouTube. And this is genuinely revolutionary for indie animation. While it isn't the first time we've seen an indie show in theaters, it is the first time we've seen something to this scale, and it really has the chance to pave the way for future indie projects behind it. But a lot of fans of the Amazing Digital Circus weren't happy about this news. At launch, there were only showings in 4 countries, which sold out very quickly. And if you couldn't make one of these showings, you'd have to avoid spoilers for a whole 2 weeks before it released online on YouTube or Netflix. However, within 36 hours, Glitch put out a response explaining their decision-making for everything. In their statement, the CEO talked about how much they tried to get the theatrical window as small as possible, and that they had to fight tooth and nail to even get it down to just 2 weeks. They also explained that they're actively working on getting into as many theaters as possible, and that they're trying to expand the amount of showings at theaters they've already secured. The truth of the matter is, Glitch is not some huge media company, especially when you compare them to something like Disney or Sony. But right now, they're fighting for the same theaters as those massive companies. And as Glitch's statement says, they're fighting a massive uphill battle. They need to prove that their show has demand. That's why they're asking you guys to reach out to your local theaters about it. A strategy which is already working, by the way, because within 10 hours of the first announcement, they were able to get theaters in Mexico and massively expand the amount of US showings. Just imagine how much they can do in the full 2 months leading up to the premiere if we come together as a fan base. Ultimately, it's important to recognize that while the situation isn't ideal, Glitch isn't to blame for the downsides. If they had the option, they'd absolutely go for the 3-day theatrical window in every theater worldwide. We just don't live in a world where theaters have that level of confidence in indie studios. But maybe after this event, we'll be one step closer to living in a world where they do.